So I've hung out with Dennis a bunch, but the first time is the only time I would say I actually really partied with him. You know, like very few people, party with Dennis and live to tell the story. So it was right after it was the Super Bowl after my senior season, and so right before the draft, a couple months before the draft, and I was in Miami hanging out with Dan Levitard. And there was a Tommy Hilfiger party that Dan was invited to, and he brought me, and Dennis was in there. So we were at the bar, and Dennis was right next to me, and he was like, he looked and he was like, hey, he was like, you're hanging out with me today. And he was drinking Jaeger shots. And she started buying me Jaeger. And this is when Dennis was at like Dennis, and this was
peak.
Yes, peak Dennis, and we're in Miami Beach, okay? And so everyone's like, Dennis is going down to bed, right? To a club at the other end of Collins. Washington. And so everyone took off. And I was sitting talking to his sister and this other lady, and they both grabbed me and they're like, you're coming with us. And so Dennis was in front and I was kind of falling behind with his sister and this other lady. And everybody was going crazy for Dennis, Like no one even recognized Heisman Trophy winner. Everyone was going crazy for Dennis. And I just was tagging along, like kind of like a fly on the wall. We went to bed, and I remember meeting a whole bunch of famous people. And Jaegers kept coming, and then I remember Dennis took off, and the ladies grabbed me, and I just remember walking down the street being dragged by this lady. Next thing I know, I woke up. In the morning. I woke up in the morning looking around. I was like, "Where am I?" I just saw there's like on the doorknob. There's this huge bra hanging on the doorknob and these huge tennis shoes, and I was thinking, "What happened?" So I opened the door to the room, and I looked, and there's just a hallway of rooms and like a little stairs that went up. So I went up the stairs, and Miami Beach, right, looking out the window. I looked around, and there was this guy sitting on the couch, and he just looked at me and he just started laughing, And I was like, what happened?
You don't know what happened.
What happened and where am I? And this is when Dennis was married to Carmen Electra. And so they were in the bedroom back there, and then they broke down that the party was here, and they tried to invite me, but I passed out, and so they threw me in the bed. And
it's like a scene from The Hangover.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you just blacked out like drunk, or
yeah. Or the Jaegers got me.
Are there any healing properties to alcohol, or is that just fun? That's just
there are healing. There definitely are healing. Anything that helps you relax is healing. Some people go overboard and get too relaxed, and they go
at night.
Poison.
Got a little too relaxed. Yeah, he fell asleep.
Yeah, but there's anything that puts you in that receptive, open-minded mood is medicine.
What about like the harmful effects for your brain?
But to me, if someone is using at that level, then they're not moving into the toxicity. So especially with alcohol, you'll see there's a certain level with alcohol where you get to that relaxed state, but then there's a time where you start to revert. And I had a teacher who talk about this. He's like, when you start drinking alcohol too much, right, you go back to your mammalian state, and then you go back to your reptile state, and then you go back and you shut down and you die. And so there's a limit, right? And same thing with anything. Meditation, anything can be done in excess. Right. It's really about listening to your body, listening to yourself. And if you're truly open and you're truly listening, you'll know when you're going too far. It'll be obvious.
Has Dennis ever talked about like King Jong-un or anything like that?
No.
Any of his visits over there?
He just laughs when I would,
if you brought it up, he would just laugh?
He would just laugh and say he's crazy. That's what he would say.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Wow. It is crazy.
He's the
crazy, only person
cool.
though that like goes, right?
Yeah. He doesn't go anymore. It was just a short period of time, but I think he got so much slack for it. He was like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, PR. Just
exactly.
PR.